about this safety feature, and you just told that with a push of a button, the security agency would be contacted and they will come to you. So particularly talking about the Pakistani scenario, where most of the, if I'm talking about the police, they don't know the exact location. Is it right?
We are from the same country.
Yeah. So in most, they don't know the exact location of yours. They have to call you to find out because they're not provided with the GPS. So in that case, how would the security agency would approach the person?
Yeah, I mean, that is exactly the problem we are solving, especially when you're in a moving vehicle. You know your home address, but when you're outside, and especially when you're on a mobile, you don't know what address you are at. So even if you're on the phone, you won't even know. If someone asks you, where are you won't even know what to say. And imagine if you're now not in your city. You're in some other city, you're in some other country, you have no idea. And that is exactly the problem that we are trying to solve. So when you make the call, typically, and I can't claim expertise in every single country and what happens there, but even in the US that I know pretty well, or in some other countries, they use cell tower triangulation. So they look at 2 or 3 cell towers or maybe 1 cell tower and they approximate that this is what the location might be. And then they send the police, and the police has to hunt around, and that can take several minutes, let's say, and that can actually lead to disastrous outcomes. So our objective here was, A, provide the number, which we are providing, so you don't have to think about what the number is, and second, put that location right in front of the rider or the driver in both cases. So they don't have to think about where I am, they just read it out. And they can also say, I'm in this blue Camry with license plate number XYZ. And so with that information, now the police is equipped really well to be able to find you. Of course, at the end of the day, they are the emergency experts, and they are the ones who are going to handle the situation. But we are trying to make sure that we can provide whatever assistance that we can.
My name is Arnav, and I'm from PhoneWorld magazine. I have a question. If I'm going to share my trip with my parents, and they don't have the Uber app in their phone, so how will get the notification, and how they can get the SMS or the map?
Yeah, this is exactly. So on purpose, what I decided to do on this phone is, this phone has no Uber app. And this is the phone number that I was sharing my trip with. So what will happen in this case is, you'll get a text message, you'll get a link, that when you tap on that link, it will take you to the browser. In this case, it may say the trip is over, but actually it will show you the location right there. So it takes you to the browser, shows you this. In this case, it is the driver's location, so it doesn't show the starting point or the ending point. But whether you have an Uber app or you don't have the Uber app, you'll be able to see the location.
Hi, my name is Akram. I'm from Pro Pakistan. I have a question. It's a bit related to the security, but in Pakistan, we don't have the personalized customer services for Uber. Kareem has their dedicated call center, so if we have any issue, we can call them. We can, make a complaint regarding the captain or the driver. But in this scenario, I mean, Uber is not, providing that thing. In Pakistan, people are more in the belief that they should get personalized to the authorities, because what happens is that most of the drivers, they cancel your ride and you don't get, they even tell you on the phone that I won't come, do whatever you can do, because they know that you cannot complain about it. So there should be something in this regard, and how you are planning to take care of this thing.
Yeah, I would share a couple of thoughts. First of all, if it is about an emergency situation, we are very clear that we are not experts in providing emergency help. It has to be the emergency authorities. If there is something that is an emergency for you, if it's a safety emergency for you, you need to be able to get to an ambulance or a police or whatever the case may be. And our role there is to make sure that we are providing you that in the app. When it comes to other kinds of support that you may need, we have a very easy system for anyone to file a complaint. In fact, we have a very large support network that is available 7/24, and if we receive a complaint, whether it is from a rider or a driver, that gets looked at very quickly. So in the example of, like you talked about, a cancellation, if they filed a complaint, that will be looked at very quickly, and we will make sure that we resolve the matter.
Sachin, my question is, emergency number are you providing? Emergency number 999
in Dubai. In Dubai.
Like in Dubai. If I connect with the police, how much is the response time?
That's a great question that I would not know. That varies from country to country. It not just varies from country to country, it varies from time to time, day to day. You can imagine that there are certain times when those authorities may be more busy than other times. So that is something that is hard for me to answer. But what I do know, because we have talked to several regulators in this space, they will say, if I get that phone call and if I don't get enough information, what can I do? And because they don't always, I can't specifically talk to the Pakistan situation because I don't know what the infrastructure is like. No, I understand. But my point is that I don't know how good or bad the infrastructure is. And their main concern is, can I get the best?
Pakistani police.
No, of course. And I know about India police as well. Let me be very clear. So we don't have a call center that is accepting those calls.
Yeah.
Because, again, to be clear, when it comes to an emergency situation, then we are not the experts. We need the experts to be able to deal with it. So we are helping you make a call directly to the experts. But what is important in that situation, what we can control and what we can help with, is we can provide that information. As I was mentioning earlier, a lot of these authorities, I've even seen this in the US and Mexico and several other places, they get the call, they don't know what the location is. Or the location will have a large circle of error of about 1 kilometer. How are they going to find the rider in that? Now, we have the power of GPS on these phones. Our app knows exactly where the rider is, where the driver is. So we can then show that information right in front of them. And as you said, in a panic situation, what do? If it is easy for you to read 123 Main Street and you can provide them, that can make a difference of several minutes in them trying to find you. So I think that's how we can at least help save some of the time that they would have spent trying to find you. Yeah.
Do you have any plans to give insurance to the drivers in Pakistan, for the trip insurance?
That's a good question. I'm actually personally not familiar with exactly what we do for insurance,
We
but
just rolled out in August.
I'll share the details with you. We have already rolled out the protection, we call it the income protection. Partner protection. I'll share the details.
We have, because I think what's important with our insurance product in Pakistan and the region is that we're covering, it's not even just about on the accident itself, but for drivers who may not
For the
be
health
able to
insurance,
drive
automobile
because of
insurance.
an accident, we'll cover them for up to 30 days. So we'll send you the information. about that.
I would be open-minded about any partnership with the regulators and the law enforcement professionals. So we can do that, or maybe we can even do more. Maybe we can actually share the location that we see and automatically transmit it. So we are very open to partnerships like that. In fact, we have done some of those partnerships in the US and Mexico where we transmit that information automatically. Our drivers are free to do anything else with their time as they wish. Our goal is that when they are driving with Uber, they provide the best possible service and we provide the best possible service to them. But what they do in their other time, that's really their choice. And that's the point about Uber. Uber has always been about flexibility and them making their own decisions, and that's what we want to support.